All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe, to and Love, here with your Friday Night Smackdown review for February 16, 2024 edition. Of course, I'm recording this on Saturday night, but nonetheless, get this. So, yes, this is my first non-WWE pay-per-view review, and I think ever. I used to review NXT when NXT and AEW were having those back and forth, wars, or you could say it was a fight instead of a war, them being on the same week, or how it started. But then NXT started getting worse. Since then, they've gotten a bit better, but not too much to where they were back in black and gold days. But I digress. I'm here for Smackdown. And considering the fact that there was no collision tonight, add the extra benefit of doing Smackdown instead. Plus, I'm wearing blue. Didn't really realize, but yeah. Blue. Yeah, Smackdown tonight. And I'll probably be doing or reviewing the Elimination Chamber next week. I do like this mix of flows with pro wrestling reviews because I've been getting more into watching, especially SmackDown, because SmackDown's at the end of my week, and then of course Raw. I can watch it after school, but considering with things on Tuesday, probably not reviewing Raw. But SmackDown, yeah, this is new for me again. But I have been watching SmackDown back again the last couple weeks, so I've been following up. So I did see the press conference last week about The Rock, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. In the end, with The Rock slapping Cody Rhodes, and this whole binding together of The Rock and Roman Reigns after a weird movement of, the Cody Rhodes, we want Cody, showing how 2 weeks ago we had Cody Rhodes basically offer up his championship opportunity at WrestleMania of Roman Reigns to The Rock, but then last week is flipped the termination. We don't know what's awaiting going forward. The only thing we do know is that the winner of the Elimination Chamber, and we did get more Elimination Chamber qualifying matches on last night. But we do know the winner of that will face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. So, yeah. SmackDown was mostly about the Elimination Chamber and The Rock, Roman Reigns. The first time I'm doing a review a WWE review and The Rock is on it. That's pretty fun. But basically, the main event was The Rock hang out there with the bloodline, or after with the bloodline seemingly forming, and this alliance, it seems, has formed. Going into WrestleMania, we saw Rock mold into Hollywood Rock, bit of Corporate Rock also in there. Basically, heel 101 Rock, which was much better than the presentation we got 2 weeks ago. So this should be fun. Now, last week after the press conference, they load the graphic of Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania 40 for the WWE Championship. Now, that could easily change because The Rock, this whole modifier in The Rock, how does that lead into all things? We'll see. But that segment at the end of the show, that was something I'd say. But anyways, guys, enough jibber jabber. Let's get into review, shall we? But before we get into it, of course, we gotta lay out the groundwork. Thank you guys all for joining me. Of course, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button as well as the subscribe over in this general area. And be a subscriber if you're new, be a part of the channel, etc. But yeah, let's get into review, shall we? So, my stinking notes won't stay upright. Try. Think I may have to get another electronic device back on my phone when it's charging. Otherwise, anyway. So we start off with a men's, Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Kevin Owens and Dominik Mysterio. So first off, as far as the Elimination Chamber, so last week, Drew McIntyre qualified by beating AJ Styles. Randy Orton defeated Sami Zayn. LA Knight on Monday defeated Bronson Reed. And then Bobby Lashley, or it might be the other way around, LA Knight defeated Ivar. And then Lashley defeated Bronson Reed. So, here looking for the final two going to the chamber tonight. For starters, we got Kevin Owens versus Dominik Mysterio. Again, this still makes me feel old when I remember watching WWE when Ray and Eddie were feuding and Dominik was, just a small cat over the custody of Dominik ladder match. Now he's part of Judgment Day. One of the finer, I wouldn't say the finest, but one of the finer factions in pro wrestling today. And match solid. See, the thing with Judgment Day lately is R-Truth. R-Truth and his budding confusion of being a part of the Judgment Day. But him getting beaten up by Judgment Day to be saved by The Miz and etc. If I had to guess early on, it's going to be Miz and R-Truth, the Awesome Truth, reform to face Finn Balor and Damian Priest at WrestleMania for either them or DIY. One of those two teams will take down the Judgment Day at WrestleMania. It could be a triple threat tag team match for WrestleMania, but R-Truth is nothing short of entertaining and hilarious. We certainly know that. But this match was a fun match between these two. Dominik went for a big splash up top, but KO moved out of the way, followed up with a senton of himself for a near fall. R-Truth, he was on the outside. He was running amok in his ways in support of Dominik. So Dominik was obviously against at first. So allowed KO follow up. And then KO hit a rolling cannonball in the corner, followed with a frog splash off top for a near fall. So Dominik would get the advantage. He would hit the Three Amigos. And then he asked R-Truth for a chair. So, I mean, this confusion, blending ways. So R-Truth got a chair. But instead, he sat in the chair instead of giving it to Dominik, which, distracted Dominik. KO followed up the thrust kick, followed a pop-up powerbomb, 1, 2, 3, and Kevin Owens qualifies for Perth, Australia, for the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, Elimination Chamber is already looking stacked. You can definitely tell. It's definitely going to be the big highlight of the show with Orton, Drew, Knight, Lashley, Owens. I tell you, looking at this chamber, you can already tell that seeing Randy Orton in the Elimination Chamber match, yes, it's been a couple months, but excuse me, after a back injury, not sure he would wrestle again. It's just Randy's one of my all-time favorites, and not sure how much longer he's going to do this, but just glad that he's healthy and still working on it. But easily, you can tell looking at this field, who's set out to win it. Drew McIntyre is just great in what he does. It's something. Speaking of the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre, he was backstage with the lovely Kayla Braxton, and Drew was asked about the Elimination Chamber thus far. He talked about the candidates, and so he was not wearing his famous shirt. famous selling shirt of him posing with the meme next to the CM Punk tombstone of his WrestleMania dreams. So, he talked about the people's choice and talked about him being in there is doing what the fans want. LA Knight reaped into the fold. Now, if you watched TNA back in the day, you got a little bit of flashback because you remember when it was these two and Koya, I believe that was his name. They were all in the same faction or someone else, and Eli Drake, when he was in, he turned heel and really broke out on his own. And what really started the foundation of the LA Knight character. And it's obviously fun to see since, and now these two back face to face, they'll will be in the same match in Perth. So LA Knight stood up to Drew Drew commented about his momentum. Said that, well, you don't deliver in the ring. You haven't won championships. And he said, look at my resume. You know, it's stacked. And Knight said, well, it's funny talking about resumes because you haven't won jack, you know what, since he's been there. And he talked about losing to fans. Well, you've been losing them for the last 2 years. So then he brought up the t-shirt, the famous Drew McIntyre t-shirt, which I'm sure you can still get up. I would definitely like to order it. But so he said that on the tombstone there's still enough room for another name. So he sees CM Punk. Well, he could definitely put DM Hunk on there. Put with your dreams going up in smoke. So back and forth, some officials then decided to step in, and Knight said, yo, we're just talking. Oh, this is good. This is good. But yeah, Drew McIntyre, the favorite, and you know, he deserves it. Drew McIntyre deserves it. He's doing some great work the last number of weeks, especially since CM Punk went down. Because, yeah, here's the thing. 4 years ago, it was supposed to be Drew McIntyre's moment. You know, he won the Royal Rumble. It was a beautiful moment in front of a packed stadium. How things changed in a couple months. He beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal title in front of no one. So, yes, we're not getting Punk versus Rollins, but McIntyre versus Rollins would definitely be a fun outing and fun match on the show. And to see McIntyre after the work he's done. And we saw what Drew did to Punk on his way out. So there's a few right there lined up with the t-shirt and all, lined up for when Punk comes back, and that will be a fun feud. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting Perth next week. The bloodline were showing off backstage. So they showed The Rock showing up before the show. And then they showed Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso line up saying, let's get this done. And getting out there. So yeah. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. So on Monday, no, it was last week. Yeah, last week. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Two great guys. I remember seeing their first match in NXT. And, for the UK United Kingdom Championship with Jim Ross on commentary. And now seeing them both as a tag team. Tyler Bate finally on the main roster. Pete Dunne, now back to Pete Dunne. And they're the number one contenders for Judgment Day at Elimination Chamber. Asked about their match. But yeah, last week they won a very fun match against DIY for the opportunity. And, it should be a fun match next week. Should be fun between the four. Tyler Bate talked about them possibly having a name, and it didn't really sit greatly with Pete Dunne, but Pete Dunne just has that normal smirk. I mean, I love the Broserweights, because Matt Riddle, Pete Dunne, the energy, they fed off each other. So, afterwards, Dominik, obviously incensed and pissed off Dominik, he ran roughshod and ran to the picture and said, you guys can't be any two members of the Judgment Day. So Tyler Bate laid out a challenge for next week. Said that why don't we test your thesis? Saying that next week it's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate versus you, Dominik, and R-Truth. And then Dominik was like, what are you talking about? You guys know R-Truth isn't part of Judgment Day. You should know that by now. Then he walked off pissed. So, there you go. There you get a nice warm-up to a match for next week. Nice. Zelina Vega versus Tiffany Stratton. A qualifying match for the Women's Elimination Chamber. Zelina, Grace Sear, Tiffany Stratton. This might be my first time reviewing a match or reviewing a review of a match of Tiffany's that's not the Royal Rumble. Interesting. Because, I do still kind of follow NXT, but I don't really watch enough to review it. But Tiffany's obviously an outlier with her look, great look, beautiful lady. Lucky Ludwig Kaiser, but we get the point. She's very talented in the ring. However, there were some miscues in this match, which was iffy, but nonetheless, saw a match between two. So, Legado del Fantasma, they were at ringside or in the crowd, which obviously affected Zelina. And now LWO were supporting Zelina. So cool to see Carlito. Yes, pun intended. Part of Smackdown. So, a little bit back and forth. Zelina, she went for a moonsault off the middle rope to the outside, and it looked like, and this wasn't the only match where it felt like there was some miscommunication on the moonsaults. But yeah, it looked like probably was Tiffany's fault. Looked like she was a bit farther away. Because, yeah, it looked like Zelina mostly caught her with her legs. And then, but nonetheless, grazed her. So, I mean, yeah, that was a spot in the match. And then late in the match, Golf Del Fantasma, which were affecting Zelina, and she got into altercation at ringside. Tiffany took advantage, slammed Zelina down to the mat, and then went for, it's called the bet. So Christopher Daniels has the best moonsault ever, whereas Tiffany's is the prettiest moonsault ever, and that did not look, yeah. Because, yeah, it looked like Zelina now was too far because, similar. Tiffany hit mostly legs and lower body, and then, but landed enough and got the win. So Tiffany, she rolls on in the Perth, be a part of the Elimination Chamber. Cool stuff. Legado del Fantasma pretty much gets the last word. AJ Styles, so ever since AJ's come back, his recent run, he's taken on this sort of renegade, like lone wolf type of role, which has been great to see. But of course, with that, he's kind of neglected the OC. So, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Mi Chin, aka Mi Yim. So, Styles was sitting backstage in the locker room, and he got into an altercation with Carl Anderson, much to the dismay of Mi Chin, which seriously, that name is, I don't know. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah. Another faction you guys know I will say I'm very much loving. Very much. The Final Testament. Karrion Kross, Authors of Pain, Paul Ellering, and Scarlett. That is a great faction. So, Authors of Pain basically went 2-on-2 against some enhancement talent, and they got the win. You know, Authors of Pain are a dominant force just to see. And seeing them back, potentially, I mean, they could easily vie for the tag team titles with Kross going for whether it's the US or Cody, when he beats Roman, is going to have to answer some challengers. And Kross, build them up more. Now, next week we're going to get the Street Profits versus Authors of Pain, which is going to be great. But when Cody wins the title from Roman, finishes his story, he's going to have some challengers in the waiting. Karrion Kross, build him up. That's certainly something I want to see. And build around the Final Testament, because that group is fun to watch. Logan Paul. I swear it's like weird. The more and more at first seeing Logan Paul on WWE TV, I was not too keen on it, but seeing how he's done, and the more and more he's turned out these good performances, he's certainly grown on a lot of people. Whether you like him, whether you hate him and his brother, I mean, get the point. So Logan talked about how he's going to win tonight, go to Perth, rematch Seth, and then at the end of WrestleMania, he'll be known as Logan Paul Double Champ. Says he likes to tune to that. So we got The Miz versus Logan Paul to determine the final slot in the men's Elimination Chamber for next week. So, I just mentioned how Logan's had some very good performances and matches. Up to date, you know, against Kevin Owens at the Rumble, against Seth at WrestleMania last year, you know, etc. Against Roman, Ricochet, etc. But this match against The Miz, I guess it was just timing and for a few things, because it not gel great. Certainly how it was in the first encounter a couple years ago. But it was a fine match, I guess. So, the thing that led to a weird place in your head about this match, so one word spot, which kind of made the flow of the match feel weird. So Logan hit a high crossbody, a springboard, and then with something he's been doing more and more as of late, he goes for a standing moonsault, but he catches Miz on the legs, and then they're like almost unsure of what to do. They're like skirmishing. It's almost like a Oklahoma roll type of deal. And yeah, it's kind of strange. So Logan, he hit a springboard clothesline, knocking Miz to the apron, followed with a frog splash on the apron, setting them to break. People getting enthralled with Logan. So Miz got the advantage back, hit a backbreaker, followed with a flatliner for a near fall. So one of Logan Paul's friends, they were at ringside, and they had them knucks, but the referee caught clear. Now, I didn't see what happened next, but Logan knocked out The Miz and then hit a front slam, knocking down The Miz. Then 1, 2, 3, Logan Paul advances the Perth. So yeah, Logan Paul, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, and Kevin Owens. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And what I like, I think many people can attest to this, many people's predictions are that LA Knight is going to be the one to take the title off Logan Paul at WrestleMania. So, already, you can understand with planting seeds that you have LA Knight and Logan Paul in this match. Gonna be interesting. Gonna be interesting. Naomi. It is good to see Naomi back on WWE TV. Certainly, yeah. She went 1-1 for Alba Frye. And this maybe have been the final slot for the women. Elimination Chamber, not too sure, but either way is Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Not too familiar with Alba Frye, but she surely showed some power in this match. She went for like a wheelbarrow move, like a glam slam almost, on Naomi for a near fall. Naomi would take the cake or take the win here. She hit like it was like a face buster, but propelling Frye's facing the mat with her knees and then locking in a sort of crucifix like submission. Hold on to legs or hold on to arms with her legs back with pulling on the head. Innovative submission with Frye tapping out, and Naomi goes to the chamber. This is the main event match. Interesting touch there. So yeah, the bloodline made their way out. Hearing Roman Reigns' theme again, it certainly fits. it's certainly a fun one. Making the change is definitely going to be a big memory of his reign. Certainly. Not that there was anything wrong with his previous Shield-like theme, but this just makes it more sweeter, hearing it over and over. So they were out there, talked about press, talked about leading up. Roman, he had the mic, and people were chanting, Cody, Cody, Cody. And Roman couldn't help but smile. Yes, Cody, the guy that ruined everything. But talked about how they're going to stand side by side with The Rock. How The Rock is officially a member of the bloodline. So The Rock came out, and initially when I had the feeling of Hollywood Rock, I was thinking perhaps we could get a new theme of The Rock, but still worked. I was just curious. But Rock came out in the Hawaiian vest, had the shades on. I mean, it was good aesthetic, good look. Yeah, The Rock was soaking in, taking it out as he pleased, and Rock was out there. So, talked about on Pat McAfee's podcast, his show. Talk about the Cody Crybabies, this and that. I mentioned at the press conference as well. And he go to him saying how Cody needs to finish his story. Cody needs to finish his story. At the same time, while they were sitting on their ass and people are booing him, but at the same time they know it's true. So yeah, The Rock certainly honed in well to the segment. So, The Rock praised the attendance in Utah, but also how it's the biggest piece of trailer park trash he's ever seen. Certainly, it's been a while since I've heard that. Yep. For everybody, it's been a minute. So, he was healing up, with the whole finally and this and that. So, the one thing I've noticed that people have been hooking up on certain camera angle. So, he talked about Cody was pointing per se to the crowd, saying, I'll do everything to make sure at WrestleMania he's not the world champion. And they're talking about how he's pointing to Roman during this camera angle. And I don't know. So in the end though, The Rock said, if you smell what the bloodline is cooking. So then they pointed their ones up and, Rock's music played and that was how the thing went off there. So, if there's one criticism of it all, it's obviously people hung up that Cody didn't really mention on Monday why he gave up his spot pretty much at first to The Rock 2 weeks ago. And The Rock, handled it well in this segment. Definitely heel Rock is definitely better. how it was 2 weeks ago, and yeah, signing with Roman, this alliance, certainly going to be unique going to WrestleMania. Now, Elimination Chamber is next week. Same show, 4 matches, the way it seems. 2 chamber matches, men and the women. We got Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. Then we got the tag team title match, which should be good. It does feel weird. Like something's missing, if I can say. But we'll see. We still got a week to go. They can certainly add another match or 2 at the last minute, but we'll see. We'll see. But anyways, guys, for now, that was the all for SmackDown. Hope you guys enjoyed it. My first SmackDown review. Yeah, I don't think I reviewed any main roster shows when NXT and AEW were having that fight. I was just reviewing AEW, NXT, and pay-per-views. But yeah, it should be interesting. So, because next week we're going to have SmackDown, or we're going to have AEW, we're going to have SmackDown, and then we're going to have Elimination Chamber. So, I'll probably have an Elimination Chamber review up next week and talk a little bit about Collision and SmackDown. But yeah, mostly an Elimination Chamber review and of course AEW Dynamite. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. Should be fun. Well, last again, thank you guys all for joining me. 38 strong. Let's go. Again, strive for more. Click that like button. Help you guys. Helps me. Thank you guys. See you guys next time. Subscribe as well. Thank you guys all. See ya. I made Joe to in love. Peace.